All right, gang. So it's Sunday and all kinds of stuff, right? School, cars, stuff. Yeah, make sure you have at least a block. We're gonna do some balance and your strap. And we're gonna start in a comfortable seat. So find your way onto the mat as you're ready. Cross your legs, sit up on a blanket, anything that feels right or comfortable for you. And I'm just gonna, I see something beeping, so just wanna make sure that everything is copacetic. Good, okay. And begin to settle in right here, right? So taking a moment or two before we start moving into the asana practice to begin to stretch the breath, to begin to quiet the mind. And it takes a little bit of extra effort and extra energy, honestly, because we're home, right? We're not getting in the car and driving to our yoga studio where we're forced to put our phone away, where we're in a room where we can gather this collective energy. It's very different. And having to make that next step, right? To say, yes, I'm going to stay present. Yes, I'm going to try to block off all those distractions just for an hour is precious. And you've already started that work right now. So see if you can't maintain it, right? For that hour, give yourself that gift. And as you sit up nice and tall, feel those sitting bones really begin to start moving downward. So this idea that even visualize in your head that you're drawing energy into the earth, or even that you're taking in energy up out of the earth, right? Something where you have that connection, like putting in that plug. And feeling how we can sit up nice and tall, bringing the ribs up a little bit higher, sitting up a little taller, maybe even wiggle a little bit side to side or front and back. Just inviting a little bit of lengthening between the pelvis and the low ribs. Really invite those shoulder blades to just melt down the back. Soften the throat. Soften the space between the eyebrows. Soften the jaw. Let the tongue move away from the roof of the mouth. And invite the breath to grow deeper here. So again, that idea of stretching the breath, lengthening the breath. Inhaling fully and deeply. Filling all the way up, right? All the way to the apex of the lungs, and then exhaling, releasing all the way out. Maybe you can even visualize blowing up a balloon, right? So that low belly fills, and then the ribs fill, and then all the way up, and then holding it at the top before we slowly deflate, letting everything go. Maybe we can even think as we breathe on that exhalation, release, release, release. Right? Let that be a little mantra for you. Release. You can even use that, right, as those thoughts maybe come in, or you notice that you're making judgments on how you feel or what's happening in a pose. Just say release. Let it go. Right? If you'd like to open the eyes, you can, or you can just keep them soft. We'll take a nice big inhalation, and then on the exhale, begin to fold over the legs. So we're just going to extend the arms out. Again, try to keep those shoulder blades back as much as you can, so not this shrimp back, right? We want to keep those sits bones plugged into the earth. The chest is lifted. Maybe even open the mouth here. Stick out the tongue. Stretch out the jaw. Imagine we're doing that lion's breath, right? That on the exhalation. You can do that if you like. Holding here, we're going to take another breath in and then inhale, come right back up. Look at your legs. And we'll all start with the right leg in front of the left. So we're going to take another forward fold and we're going to take a little side bend. So move that right leg out in front if it wasn't already. Let's take that nice deep breath in and then exhale. Take those fingers forward again. Drop the head. Maybe even shake it yes and no. And we're going to walk our hands over to the left. So as we walk our hands to the left, check in with that right sits bone. Maybe you can take that right hand back for a minute and do a little self-adjustment. Right, you can press the hand into that hip crease, maybe even traction it down the knee before that right hand comes back. Maybe you can even rest on top of that left hand. Again, try to drop your right shoulder. Breathing deeply here. Feel that side stretch, all those little intercostal muscles. And then inhale, let's walk our hands back through center. And then we'll come back upright. Switching legs, we're going to take that left foot in front of the right. Right, so whether it's heel to heel like I have, or your knees are in a little bit tighter, right? Whatever feels good to you, whatever works. Take that nice inhalation, and then exhale, take it forward. Inhale, lift, exhale, lengthen. Next inhale, walk the hands to the right. Drop into that left hip. So we're making length, right? We're trying to add space into this side body. So keep dropping into that left hip. Drop the shoulder, breathe. Maybe a little self-adjustment if that works for you. Soften again the throat, the neck, release. Exhale, release. And then we're going to bring the hands back through center and sit up. So again, we're going to be playing a lot with balance today. And you know, that idea of when people, one of those things, right, when they're asking those questions, right, there's like, what do you want in your life? And people say balance. You know, well, what is balance? You have to be out of balance to want to be in balance, right? So how do we negotiate when we are out of balance, right? You can't be like this rod that's immovable. We're not that. So we have to be able to be flexible, right? In order to stay in balance. Because life is going to come at us. Things are going to come at us. So we have to be able to negotiate that change, to be able to think about plan B. And so throughout practice today, right, let's just play a little bit with that idea of balance. Again, having to be out of balance or having that imbalance to find that balance. All right, we're going to come onto hands and knees, coming into a tabletop position here. Go ahead and just kind of work out the back a little bit with a few rounds of cat and cow. Press those toes and the shins into the earth, round through the spine. Really work into those shoulders and think about the arms moving, right? Those elbow creases drawing in. And then on that inhale, as you open the chest, letting them rotate back out. So we're really pressing, rolling, working into all the joints, using the muscles, right? Because we don't want to lock into the joints. We want to engage the muscles so that we don't hurt our joints. And coming into that Flat back here. We're going to begin on our hands and knees, exploring a little bit of balance. So we're just going to start by reaching that right arm forward, that left leg back. Try to bring that leg hip height. Press down through that right shin, lift the belly. Gaze is forward. We're going to take a few crunches here. Here's our inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee under the body. Pull it in. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, draw everything into that midline. 2 more. Lift. Exhale. Start really matching that breath to movement as much as you can. This time we're going to take it out, making it a little bit harder. We're going to take that right elbow back as we bend that left knee and bring it to the opposite side. So reaching, bending, right? In opposition, notice how you have to shift through the body in order to stay upright. Last time, exhale, release. Let's open those legs wide. Reach those sits bones back. Take those fingers forward. Find a child's pose here. Stretch through the chest. Maybe that chin touches the earth. Maybe the forehead. So we're starting to stretch a little bit more through those underarms, up through the back of the arms. Lengthening, reaching. And then inhale, let's pull it right back up into our table. We're gonna go right into the other side. So right leg lifts, left arm, press away from the floor. Exhale, pull everything in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, keep pressing those left toes down. 1 more. As you extend out, hold and breathe. And then go ahead and find that bend. So we're going to take that left arm out, that right leg out. Again, noticing how different this is, right? Moving in this direction and forward and back. And if you fall, it's okay. I almost did. Extend 1 more time. Exhale, release. This time, keep those knees closed, toes together, and find your child's pose. And I only invite you to do that because we sort of get hooked into one that we like. And so we just keep coming back to that same one. So if we can start exploring, like, maybe sometimes it's good to do something different, right? So just finding this a little bit more closed-in version of child's pose. On your next inhalation, I want you to squeeze your inner thighs together, squeeze your knees together, lift your belly slightly, and then exhale, release all the way out. Remember, think about that word. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower the sits bones. 1 more. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, release. Inhale, find your way through table. We're going to tuck our toes, lift our hips, and find downward facing dog. So again, hang out here for a moment in down dog, pedal out your feet. Bend into one leg, then the other. Maybe you bend into both knees at the same time. Sometimes it feels good to go high up on the tippy toes. And then let those heels melt back down to the floor. Whatever you do, keep thinking about lifting that belly in and up. And then lifting those sits bones, reaching those sits bones to the sky. Now find that place of stillness here in our downward facing dog. Look back at your feet and walk your legs out wide. So we're gonna bring your feet almost to the edges of the mat. Shake your head a little bit. Maybe even shake your seat a little bit. We're gonna bring that left hand to the center of the mat. We're gonna press down, and then we're gonna release the right hand to the outside of the left leg. Take a deep breath in, and then see if you can't look underneath that left arm. So we're sort of like in a tripod here, right? Or a 3-legged stool. Keep lifting through that belly. Push Really want you to like pull with that arm into the leg so we can really find more of a wrapping action. And then inhale, come back through center. Let's take that to the other side. That right hand is going to come right in the middle of the mat. Lift that booty up and then take that left hand to the outside of the right leg. Draw it in, really use your strength here and reach and look up underneath that right arm. So again, you've got to find your balance here, right? We're in this tripod position. And then inhale, come back through center. Good. Let's go ahead and walk our hands back to our feet, finding this forward fold at the back of the mat. Turn your toes out and find a squat in Malasana. You can bring your hands together at prayer. You can always grab that block if you like and place it underneath your seat since it's the first one out of the gate. Maybe press your elbows into the inner knees here. Sit up nice and tall. And just find the breath. Each exhale, let's think release. Release. Right? What tension can we let go of? What can we release out of the body that's not serving us? And then bringing the hands back to the floor, lift your seat. If you had that block, just go ahead and move it aside. We're going to walk our hands forward, coming into a plank position. So once we're in plank, bring your feet closer together, maybe about, a fist width distance between. Drop your hips, roll those shoulders back. Find a nice strong plank. Let's hold for another breath. Then we're going to press it back into downward facing dog. On your next inhalation, look forward, and then we're going to find the top of the mat. Standing forward fold here. On your inhalation, lift halfway, hands to shins or thighs. That crown of the head reaches forward, flat spine. And then exhale, release. Bend into the knees and inhale, rise all the way to stand. Arms reach up and over the head. Full deep breath in here, drop the shoulder blades, and then exhale, hands come alongside the body. So we're going to come up onto the balls of our feet here. On your inhale, we're going to extend the arms up and come onto the tippy toes. We're going to reach and extend. We've done this a couple of times lately. Exhale, twist right and drop your heels. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, release. This is really nice, actually. It's giving a little bit of work into the calves and into the ankles, right, which we don't always work on. Inhale, lift, up, 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 up. Exhale, lower. One more time, both sides. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower right. Last time, over to the left. And then inhale as we come through center. We're going to stay up on our tippy toes. Squeeze your thighs together. And we're going to come into chair on our tippy toes. So begin to bend into those knees. Shift your weight as much as you have to. If you're tired and those arms are bothering you, up. Take them to prayer, right? Keep lifting those toes. Getting those heels off the floor. Bring your sits bones as down as you can go here. Press those knees and thighs together. One more breath. Inhale, lift up, heels down. Exhale, fold over the legs in a standing forward fold. You can moan, guys. That was a lot. I know. Bend into the knees. Go ahead and step that left foot back. We're going to drop into that left knee and inhale, come up for a low lunge. So even here, right, it's a little bit of out of balance. We have to work into this, right? We feel a little bit like, oh yeah, I'm a little wobbly side to side. Draw that right hip back, that left hip moves forward. You can sink into the hips slightly, a little bit forward and down. Let that right hand rest on that right leg, and even you can traction a little bit forward, right? So we have a little bit of leverage here. Left hand is gonna be alongside the ear. Big breath in. We're gonna take it over to the left. So again, we have to renegotiate our balance. Keep breathing. Exhale, release. Each time you exhale, can you take it just a little bit further? Keep drawing those hips forward and down, big breaths. And then inhale, let's come upright, good. Go ahead and release both hands to the floor. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back leg, and then step the right foot back to meet the left, downward facing dog. Inhale, find your plank, top of a push-up. Exhale, if you're feeling up for chaturanga, do it. Otherwise, come onto the knees. Exhale, chest and chin to the floor. Inhale, open up, find your baby cobra or up dog if you took chaturanga. Exhale, forehead to the floor, press up through table or plank, and we're back to downward facing dog. Deep breaths in and out. Looking forward, coming to the top of the mat, standing forward fold. Draw the chin into the chest. Inhale, lift halfway, let those hands come to the shins or thighs, and then exhale, release. Bend the knees, inhale, root your eyes, arms up and over the head, big breath. Hold here, come up onto those tippy toes and drop into your seat, chair pose. So the more you squeeze, right, the more you find your center, the easier you're gonna find this to be. It actually really isn't that hard. Inhale, lift, let those heels come down. Exhale, hands through heart center as you hinge all the way over. Bend into the knees, let that right foot come back. Come down onto that right knee. Inhale, low lunge on the other side. Deep breath in. And again, maybe we sink a little bit into those hips as we square them off. So making sure that left hip is moving back and that right hip is moving forward. Let that left hand come onto that left knee or thigh. And again, I just try to traction a little bit of energy forward. Big breath here, exhale, take that tilt over to the left. Nice straight arm, as much as straight as you can get it, right? So we're not sort of hanging in space here. We have a nice line of energy, that strong arm, and we're rotating that shoulder in place on your back. Inhale, bring it back through center, nice. Deep breath in, exhale, let's take those hands back to the floor. Press back through the heel of that right foot, step the left foot back to meet the right plank pose. Again, melting to the floor, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, dog into baby cobra, whichever you choose. That's your inhale. Exhale takes you back, toes tuck under, and we find downward facing dog. Hold the breath at the top and then release all the way out. Looking forward, we're gonna make our way back to the top of the mat again, standing forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, exhale and release. Press out through the feet and rise all the way to stand, arms up and over the head. Exhale, palms alongside the body. So we're going to shift our weight into the left foot. We're going to come up onto the ball of the right, and then we're just going to take that knee up. We're going to notice what happens with the hips, right? Maybe even take the hands onto your hips for a little self-adjustment. Make sure that right hip is in line with the left here, and that right foot is flexed. We're just going to kick that right foot out to the side. And then we're just gonna take that heel away. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna bring it in and forward. So we're gonna get ready for a little bit of work with the strap in our next round. But I just kind of want you to get a feel for this. And I want you to feel not only how that femur is rotating inside that hip socket, right? But what's happening all the way through this muscle, this big muscle group, right? Using this position here. One more. Forward and down. Just stand here for a minute and just notice how you feel. Notice the difference between your right leg and your left. And you may feel a little bit of warmth, right in here, as we're sort of moving around those synovial fluids, sort of getting into the guts of this hip joint. Bringing our attention to that right foot, bringing the weight into the right foot, coming onto the ball of the left. Again, bring that leg up, flex the foot. Maybe you want to challenge yourself this time. Maybe your hands can say a prayer. Maybe they can even go up over your head. Again, you may find here, we're going to do tree pose eventually, but you may even find here, right, that this is even a little bit trickier to try to negotiate your balance. You're moving, right? You're not in this static position like tree. But you're having to find this balance while the body parts aren't even moving in the same direction all the time. One more. Taking it back, hands to heart center, release that left foot. Notice if you stopped breathing. If you did, take a deep breath in and exhale, let it go. Maybe do that again. Deep breath in, exhale, let it go. Sometimes when we start thinking so hard about what we're doing, we stop breathing, right? We stop thinking about that breath that we need to be taking. So if that was the case, just let yourself re-oxygenate your full deep breaths. In and out. Good. All right, back at the top of the mat. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, dive over the legs, bend the knees. We're going to step that left foot back and we're going to turn those toes out. So we're going to find warrior one. So those toes are pointing to, I don't know, about like 11 o'clock. Bend into that right knee and inhale. Reach those arms up and over the head. Right, so we're taking that left hip or those left sits bones into that left leg, right? We're not kind of arching our back. We're trying to lengthen. Deepest bend we can into that front knee. Always an awkward pose here in our warrior one. We're going to straighten that front leg and reach our hands behind us as we interlace the fingers. Open up that chest, gaze forward, and then exhale, just take a slight hinge forward. So we're just checking ourselves out here. Maybe you want to pop that back foot in slightly, right? And just rotate your chest over that right foot. So we're not in between our legs. We're taking a little journey over to that right side of the mat. Keep bringing that left sits bone or that left hip around with you. Right, we don't want that moving back in space. We want those hips nice and strong and parallel. Reach those arms for the back wall or up a little bit higher. Just depends on what you can do. Last breath, release. Inhale, lift. We're gonna find our balance in warrior three. So we're gonna bend our front leg. We're gonna take our weight forward and we're going to begin to extend that left foot back, toes pointed down. Now, you've got a couple of options here, right? We can bring the hands to prayer. We can let them stay bound behind our back, letting that chest stay open. We can fly them maybe out to the sides, sort of helping a little bit more with that balance. If you want to really explore a little bit harder work, the arms come up over the head. Right, alongside the ears. But whatever you take, right, that work is to square off those hips. Check that those toes are pointing down. If it means all you're doing is bending and lifting, That's great, right? We're all we want to get the integrity of the pose, of the posture. So falling out of it is not a bad thing. Keep reaching forward, reaching back. We always want to keep moving to that center. That center of our body is what's going to keep us in balance. All right, bend into that front knee. Go ahead and release that back foot and inhale. We're going to find our warrior one again. Exhale, bring those hands back to the floor. Let's step it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, find your plank, top of a push-up. Oh, big breath in, big breath out. This time we're going to drop onto that right forearm and that left forearm, and we're going to find our way into a forearm plank. So once here, guys, again, you got to like take your time. If you need to come onto the knees for a minute, draw those shoulders back. Make sure you're not dumping into the shoulder joints. Let that chest stay open and then lift your knees back up. You're always welcome to do that. We're going to find a little bit of a balance here. We're going to lift our right leg and then lower it. Lift the left leg and then lower it. That was kind of easy, maybe. We're going to lift the right arm out to the side and then lower it. And then lift the left arm out to the side and then lower it. I know. Come on to the knees. Roll forward for a Sphinx pose. Draw the shoulder blades back. Open the chest. Breathe deeply here. Lift the belly away from the floor. Draw that pelvis down as that belly button moves in towards the spine. One last breath here. Release the forehead to the floor. Let those hands come alongside the body. Zip up the legs and then inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, forehead reaches back to the floor. Let's tuck the toes under, press up through table or plank. And again, we're back in downward facing dog. Let this be a resting pose, or if you need it, come into child. We'll take a couple of more breaths, either in downward dog or in child's pose, yogi's choice. Find the breath. One more. Looking forward. Go ahead and step that left foot between the hands. Pop your right foot in. Keep a deep bend in that left knee and find warrior one on the other side, right? So we're just coming into it from a different position than we did the opposite side. We'll still be doing the exact same things here. So lifting through that side body, right? Squaring up those hips. Feeling like we could rip our yoga mat apart with our feet. And then straighten that front leg. Let those hands come behind the back. Interlace the fingers as you open up that chest. This is our nice full inhalation. And then on our release, on our journey down, we release, we exhale, we draw the chest to the left. So we're gazing at maybe like the top left corner of our mat. We're making sure those hips are nice and square. Both legs are nice and straight. Lift through that core. You may feel out of balance here too, right? Now bend into that left knee and begin to fly. Find your warrior three. Press through the heel. Maybe those arms stay back, right? You can explore here however you want. Where do those arms feel the best for you tonight? Listen to the breath. Listen to your body. If you fall out, just come right back in. So it's not about how high that leg goes, right? That's not an issue. Just want to find that place of balance, that place of work. One more breath, bend into that leg and send that right foot back. Inhale, arms reach up for that beautiful warrior one. Exhale, hands can come back to the floor. Step that left foot back, right foot back, downward dog. Inhale, we're gonna find our plank, and then we're gonna bring that left forearm down, followed by the right. All right, away we go, here we are. Again, if you need to sort of rearrange yourself on your knees, you can do that. Lift through that left foot and put it down. Lift through the right and put it down. See if you can lift that left arm and put it down. And then the right, balance, balance, balance. Put it down. Now we're going to try and do opposition. I know that left arm and that right foot. And then down. Even if it's just for a second. That right foot and that left arm. And then down. Oh, release. Open the chest, gaze forward. Enjoy this Sphinx pose. It's going to feel really yummy. Full deep breaths in and out. Exhale. Go ahead and let that forehead come to the mat. Zip up the legs. Inhale, peel up, baby cobra. Exhale, release all the way out of the body. Tuck the toes and send those hips back into a child's pose. So just enjoy this moment of rest before we get back on our feet. We're breathing here. We're resetting the body, resetting the mind. Right, any thoughts, ideas, emotions, right? Just let it release. Let it go. As you're ready, coming back onto hands and knees, let's tuck those toes under and again find our downward facing dog. Look forward and find your way to the top of the mat, standing forward fold. Inhale, half right lift. That's that reminder for that Uddiyana Bandha, that lifting, flying back up. Exhale, release, bend into the knees and rise to stand. Arms up, exhale, palms alongside the body. Just roll those shoulders for a minute. Get your mind settled, yeah, get it straight. So you're gonna need your block and your strap. So we're gonna start with using the strap on a little bit of a balance pose here, and kind of that idea that we were doing with the leg before. So with your, it could be anything. It could be a belt, right? It could be a scarf. You want to put whatever you're using right around the ball, the harder part of your right foot. So not in the arch, right? That's a very soft, tender spot. You never want to put pressure there, okay? So if you have a wall and you would like to maybe utilize a wall for a little bit of support here, you're welcome to do that as well. So whether you're in the middle of your mat or the wall, even if you're using the wall, I encourage you every once in a while to take your arm away and just notice your balance. We're going to shift our weight into that left leg and we're going to bring that right foot up. So we're just going to take that strap right into that right hand. Maybe just let that left hand come onto that left hip for a minute. So here we are lifting that knee, flexing into that foot. We're going to take it out. So it's that we're rotating out of that hip joint. Maybe this is the time that that left arm comes out for a little bit of balance and we start to straighten the right leg, which is why we have this strap, right? Now, some of you may be able to kind of inch your hand down closer to your feet. So you have beautiful, strong, straight arms pressing out through the heel. Some of you may not need the strap and you just take your fingers to the inside, right, the flip-flop slot, right? And then we extend that way. So we're just gonna hold whatever way you chose and breathe. Now bend into that knee, we're gonna bring it forward. Let's see if we can't stretch our leg forward here. So from this position, we're just gonna bring that leg right out in front, nice and straight, drop into that hip. Maybe that left arm can even come up over the head. What? Bend and release. Oh, shake it out. What happens? What happens when we have to do these challenging poses? Where does our brain go? I want you to think about that for a quick second. Like physically, mentally, what happened to you just then? Were you thinking, I can't do this, this is too hard, I'm not breathing? What is it? And then pick one thing that you can focus on and work on when we do the other side. All right, so taking that strap, strapping it around the left foot. And we're gonna bring the weight into the right leg and then let that knee come up. So you may even notice that one side is a little bit more agreeable than the other, okay? And that's okay too. So let's go ahead and rotate that hip out. So we're not going forward first, we're taking it out first. So we're lifting through that chest, we're dropping down into the tailbone, into that hamstring. And then we're beginning to draw that leg out, press through the heel. Maybe that right arm comes out again as a counter, as a balance weight, right? So we're sort of helping ourselves here. Breathing, lifting through the chest. Gaze or drishti is on something that's not moving. And again, you decide, is it belt? Maybe you need that leg still bent, right? Maybe you can grab into that flip-flop spot and lift. Your choice. One more breath. Bend the knee, let's swing it forward. Square off those hips, lift that belly. Are you breathing? Check back in with yourself. And then let that leg come forward. Maybe that arm goes up. Are you in balance? Can you negotiate? One more breath. Woo! And bring it down, shake it out. And don't beat yourself up if you fall out, right? And that's the beauty of that wall if you need it. All right, let's just stand here in our mountain pose for a minute. Close the eyes. Just like we started sitting, feeling those sitting bones moving, rooting into the earth. And I said, maybe you have that picture of either plugging in and being rooted down, or maybe it's the opposite, where you are there, right? You feel those feet on the floor, but you're drawing up. You can feel that energy drawing up from the earth into the body. Find the breath, full and deep and expansive. All the way around to the back side, right? The back of the heart space. Back of the lungs, back of the ribs. And then open your eyes. So the next one we're gonna do, again, remember I told you today it's balance. We're gonna try tree pose on the block. So I think all of y'all have done this before. It just makes it a little bit trickier, right? Makes it a little bit, adds one more element to this. So we're gonna step on the block with our right foot. That's our weightedness, right? We're gonna either just bring that foot up here and just kind of lift and lower, if that's what we want to do. Maybe start with those hands of prayer, or that knee can be, that foot can be right underneath the knee. We never want to put the foot on the knee. It's a hinge joint. So we never want to add pressure sideways onto the knee. So either on the calf, or if you're super bold and you want to reach down for that leg and pull it up, right, into that upper thigh, you can try that as well. So wherever you are, I'm not going to say close your eyes. I want you to find that gazing point, that drishti out in front of you. Find your center and then see what your hands might do, right? Maybe out and open, maybe they stay at prayer. Maybe you sway, right? Maybe you just sort of play with your arms like a little dance. right? You just kind of flow, right? Whatever's calling to you tonight, don't be rigid. I just don't want you to be rigid. Be fluid. Be fluid. Be flexible. And then exhale. Let's go ahead and bring that leg forward and gently step off. Roll those shoulders a few times. Go to the other side. And we'll try that on the other side. So we're going to step up with the right foot, right? Again, there's nothing wrong with being right here and letting this be your work. Taking that heel right into the upper part of the ankle. Or you take that foot and press it into the calf. Or you reach down, and again, you find that place on the thigh. Hips are open, gaze is lifted, chest is lifted. And then we grow our branches like that mighty oak or that weeping willow. Or we feel that beautiful Spanish moss just dripping off of us, right? We're delicate, we're beautiful, we're strong. We're strong. Whatever feels good to you, whatever you want to do, let this be your dance, your release, your balance. Ooh, have fun with it, right? Have fun with it. Smile. Take one more breath. Remember, yogi smile. All right, take those hands to prayer. Step off, shake it out. Woo, woo, woo. Shake, shake, shake. That's over, guys. Yay, you did great. Taking that block off to the side. Not sure where you are on your mat, but wherever you are, if you're not at the top of the mat, then just mindfully walk your way back to the top of the mat. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your heel, each toe, right? All of it. Finding your way to the top, hands alongside the body. Big deep breath in. Exhale, full release out. Arms reach up and over the head. Inhale, exhale, swan dive. Over the legs, bend those knees. Step that left foot back, followed by the right. We're in a plank pose. We're going to come all the way down onto the belly. Count of 5, 4, 3 is chaturanga. 2, 1. Take your favorite cheek to the mat. Flip your palms up. Advasana. Just rest here for a moment. That was good work. So we've done several back bends already in our standing asana practice. Just for tonight, we'll just take one more pose in Salabhasana or locust. So I'll let you decide what you would like to do with your hands. If you want to bring them down, palms face down, you can. If you want to use that strap right across your buttocks, you're welcome to do that too. That's always super nice. Or interlace the fingers, right back behind you. Those are your choices. Zip up your legs. Work at bringing those big toes and the heels together. Take that forehead down to the floor. Feel those hip points starting to press down. And then inhale, peel your head and chest off the earth. So it's this lengthening action, right? It's like we're moving out of the hips, reaching that crown of the head forward. On your next exhale, maybe those feet lift straight and together, back behind you. Imagine I was there grabbing your feet and drawing them back. Hold and breathe. Keep lifting through the chest. Soften the throat. Soften the tongue. Move that tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Settle into this. Be happy here. How can you make this happy? I know, I hear you. I can't. I hear you. Yes, you can. Exhale, let it go. Take your other cheek to the mat. Let everything just melt. And then we'll bring those hands up underneath us. Find our way into table, and I take a moment here and do something that you want. So maybe it's another round of cat-cow. Maybe it's just these like awesome barrel sweeps, right? Where we're just dropping the hips close to the heels and bringing them forward, going in both directions, and we can add in, right? We can add in those shoulders and the head, right? Just anything that just kind of work out whatever's left to release. Exhale, release. And then we're going to go ahead and lift that right leg and cross it in front of the left. Some of you, I know, did this with me in another class. So we're going to find a seat here. We're going to bring the feet out, and we're going to sit down, right? So we have knee over knee in this. You have to wiggle around a lot, okay? It's not like you can fall into this and just be there unless you got it. Personally, I don't got it. So this is a little bit difficult. We're working into the hips and the SI a little bit here. If you're like, this is way too uncomfortable, then lean back and bring that left foot out. But just see if you can try it. We're not going to be here for very long. We're going to drop that right hand right next to that right hip. And then we're going to take that left arm up. As we sort of take that tilt to the right, bend into that right arm. Feel that stretching action all the way from that left hip, all the way up. Now, bend that elbow. Take it behind your head. So where the skull and the neck meet. As you breathe in, maybe you lengthen, you open the chest, and you look up. So the elbow's pointing up, our chest is opening. We're pressing down into that left sits bone. Can you guys feel that stretch? And then inhale, let's come up. Take both hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, big breath in here, and then exhale, hinge forward. Keep reaching those arms back behind you so that it draws those shoulders back, right? It won't allow us to kind of roll inward. We're stretching, opening that chest. Try to smile, looking at the floor, right? That just brings in, it allows everything in here to soften, softening that neck, softening that throat. And then inhale, let's come upright. What? Hands come forward. Try to roll forward. And then we're gonna let that right leg come back and we're in our table. Other side, we're gonna lift that left leg, cross that left knee in front of the right, and sit back down. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Knee over knee, or take that right leg out long. Left hand is gonna come out. Right arm is gonna reach up as we breathe in and lengthen. Exhale, we take that journey to the left. Once here, once we feel how we can keep that right sits bone down, that's when we drop that hand behind the neck and we open up that chest, we gaze up. We can even put a little bit of pressure with our fingers, like almost a little baby massage, right? Up where that neck and the skull meet each other. Find the breath here. Opening and lifting. And then inhale. Oh, let's make our way back up. Interlace those fingers behind the back. Big breath in. Exhale. Hinge. Squeeze those inner thighs together. And then inhale. Let's come upright. Good. So this time we're just going to lean back. We're going to undo that left leg, undo the right leg, and then just let the knees fall one side, up and over to the other side. Maybe one more time, moving on through. Actually, it's a nice little massage, right? Sort of like on that sacral area. And then coming back to center. Making our way onto our back. Let those arms come forward. and down. So settling in here on our back. Just take a minute. See if you can't, maybe a couple of small little tilts with that pelvis, right? Just to kind of lengthen through that lumbar spine. And then walk those feet back close to the buttocks. Maybe you can even brush the heels with your fingers. We're going to find a nice bridge. So from here, we take a deep breath in, peel the spine up. Once we can't go any further, let's walk those shoulders underneath us. Press down into the hands. Keep lifting. Lift them. Lift. So we're lifting the chest, right? We're not dropping the chin. We're pressing into the back of the head. We're reaching up with our chest, and we're using the leverage of those arms, pressing down to lift, to make that lift. We're pressing forward with the toes, right? We're bringing energy through the fronts of the feet, out through the knees, energetically moving those thighs together. Last breath here, and exhale, arms release out, and we roll all the way down. So some of you may want to explore doing moving into wheel tonight, if wheel is in your practice. Others of you may want to just explore the beginnings of wheel. So you're going to take your hands, right, palms face up, and then we're just going to begin to rotate them back so that elbows are pointing up towards the sky, and your palms are down on the floor with the fingers towards the shoulders, right? You can stay right here and just work on what that feels like, to just add some pressure into the hands and lift. Or you can start to lift up and see if you can't roll up onto the crown of your head and just stay there. But the work of bridge is really in the legs. So we're using the legs, we're pressing to lift up, pressing to continue to lift until we can relax the head, lift through the hips. Stay there as long as you want, or roll down. Anything is good. Use bridge, use wheel, use the beginning of wheel. Wherever you are, this is where I wish I could be in class with you to see you. And then exhale, release all the way down. Walk your legs out to the side of the mat and let those knees fall into one another. Open up the legs, arms, let them come out to the side, and just drop the knees to the left as you look over your right shoulder. Slow down your breathing if you feel like it's gotten a little elevated. Let those feet come back through center, head through center, and then let the knees cascade to the right. And then this time the head just gently falls to the left. And from here, we're going to take any last movements that you would like to make before Shavasana. So if you feel like a happy baby, or you're like into a inversion, we didn't do one this evening, but we did a lot of other stuff. So if you still want to take an inversion before Shavasana, you're welcome to do that. But then find your way onto your back. Maybe you use that block up underneath your head as a pillow tonight. Or if you have a blanket, you might want to place that on your hips. A little bit of, I don't know, just kind of a grounded feeling. And once you make your way, right, onto the back, maybe take that last breath in. And as you drop that exhale out, and you release, 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 you can release that breath back into the unconscious, right, where it loves to live most of the time, right, when we're not counting our breaths and thinking about our breaths and doing our pranayama. So balance, guys, you did it. you spent this amount of time in your body, with your body, negotiating, being flexible, having to make changes, right? And those are all things that we do in life every day. And so when we start to think about what we do in our yoga practice as a tool to help us understand how we actually show up in our lives, I think it really opens up new avenues to us to understand ourselves better. Just take the next few minutes here in Shavasana and give yourself the opportunity to be in Shavasana. And I'll pull you out in just a minute. If you feel like staying in Shavasana, just don't move. If you're ready to come out, slowly start bringing your attention back to that breath, stretching out that breath one more time, filling up fully on your inhale and releasing fully on your exhale. And noticing, bringing to mind, bringing to attention just how that belly's filling and emptying, filling and emptying. And then start making small movements, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, maybe even letting the head move side to side, bending the knees, and we'll take the soles of the feet to the earth. Again, you can stay here if that's calling to you, or you can roll to your right side using your right arm as a pillow. And just give yourself one more opportunity here before you sit up. Just take a few breaths. It's okay, we're in no rush. And then sitting up as you're ready, finding that soft gaze, that soft smile, bringing the hands to prayer, letting those elbows lift slightly and drawing the chin back slightly in space as if we're sitting up against that tree or that wall. And I'll close with Chewbacca, saying Namaste, which means the light in you sees, recognizes, and honors that light in you. Thanks, guys. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.